Estonian SSR. The Estonian SSR was one of the most developed and westernized parts of the Union. It had a strong tradition of education, a high literacy rate, and an advanced economy. During Soviet rule, Estonia faced forced Russification, with significant relocation of Russian speakers. Latvian SSR. The Latvian SSR was a major industrial and transit hub with a large port in Riga. During the Soviet era, Latvia underwent significant demographic shifts due to an influx of Russian-speaking settlers. While the Republic contributed to shipbuilding and electronics manufacturing, cultural suppression and deportations left deep scars. Lithuanian SSR. The Lithuanian SSR had a unique place in the USSR as the only predominantly Catholic republic. It was annexed by the Soviets in 1940 and quickly became a hotbed of dissent. Lithuania played an outsized role in the collapse of Soviet control, being the first to declare independence in March 1990. Byelorussian SSR. The Byelorussian SSR was strategically located and heavily impacted by World War II, losing a quarter of its population. It became a key center for Soviet manufacturing, especially in tractors, optics, and chemicals. Minsk was rebuilt into a model Soviet city. Despite being overshadowed by Russia, Belarus had some voice through its seat at the UN. Ukrainian SSR. The Ukrainian SSR was the USSR's second most populous republic and its agricultural powerhouse, known for the fertile black soil of the steppe. It was also a major industrial region, home to coal mining in Donbass and key military production. The republic endured the Holodomor famine in the 1930s, and despite decades of Soviet control, Ukrainian nationalism remained strong, culminating in its 1991 independence. Moldavian SSR. The Moldavian SSR was established after the Soviet annexation of Bessarabia from Romania. Its culture blended Romanian roots with Slavic influence. With a primarily agricultural economy, it played a modest role in the USSR, but tensions between Moldovans and the Russian-speaking population would later spark the Transnistria conflict. Karelo-Finnish SSR. The Karelo-Finnish SSR was formed after the Soviet Union annexed parts of Finland following the Winter War in 1940. The region, with its Finnish heritage, faced intense Soviet efforts to erase its cultural identity through Russification. In 1956, the republic was dissolved, but its legacy remained as an example of Soviet territorial ambitions in Northern Europe. Russian SFSR. The Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic was by far the largest and most dominant republic in the USSR. It housed the capital Moscow, controlled much of the military and political leadership, and was home to major scientific and industrial complexes. Russia led the Soviet system and often absorbed the costs of empire. Georgian SSR. The Georgian SSR was known for its ancient Orthodox Christian traditions and wine. Despite being the birthplace of Joseph Stalin, Georgia often clashed with Soviet policies, especially in the late 1980s. The 1989 Tbilisi massacre, where Soviet forces violently suppressed pro-independence protests, became a significant moment in Georgia's path to eventual independence. Armenian SSR. Landlocked and mountainous, the Armenian SSR had a well-educated population and a strong intellectual tradition. It suffered heavily during the 1988 earthquake and became increasingly nationalistic toward the end of the USSR, particularly over the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Armenia's ancient Christian roots and widespread diaspora gave it a distinct global connection within the Soviet world. Azerbaijan SSR. The Azerbaijan SSR was one of the USSR's key energy providers, with vast oil reserves centered around Baku. In addition to oil, it contributed to metallurgy, chemicals, and early aviation. The republic experienced cultural tensions and a growing national movement, especially in the late 1980s, partly fueled by the conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh with Armenia. Kazakh SSR. The Kazakh SSR was the second largest republic in area and home to vast steppes, deserts, and natural resources. It was used for Soviet nuclear testing at Semipalatinsk and hosted the Baikonur Cosmodrome, launching the USSR's first satellites and cosmonauts. The Kazakh population was nearly outnumbered by Russians due to forced migrations, but independence brought a resurgence of national culture and identity. Uzbek SSR. The Uzbek SSR was the most populous Central Asian republic, known for its Islamic heritage and historic Silk Road cities like Samarkand and Bokhara. It became the center of the Soviet cotton monoculture, often at the cost of environmental disasters like the drying of the Aral Sea. Despite repression, Uzbek traditions remained vibrant, blending Persian, Turkic, and Soviet influences. Turkmen SSR. The Turkmen SSR, largely desert and sparsely populated, relied on natural gas production and cotton farming. Ashgabat was heavily reconstructed in Soviet architectural style after a major earthquake. The republic remained culturally conservative, with tribal traditions coexisting with the demands of a centrally planned economy. Kirghiz SSR. The Kirghiz SSR was one of the more remote and mountainous republics. Known for its nomadic heritage, the republic focused on livestock and light industry. It played a modest role in Soviet strategy, but maintained strong cultural traditions through poetry, oral storytelling, and epic narratives like Manas. Tajik SSR. The Tajik SSR was the poorest Soviet republic, with a largely agrarian economy and high dependence on Moscow. It shared strong linguistic and cultural ties with Iran and Afghanistan, and its mountainous terrain made development difficult. Tuvan People's Republic. Tannu Tuva was a remote and sparsely populated region with a unique nomadic culture and strong Tibetan Buddhist traditions. Though nominally independent and recognized only by the USSR and Mongolia, it was effectively under Soviet influence. In 1944, it was formally annexed into the USSR, becoming part of the Russian SFSR, and its distinct identity was gradually absorbed through Sovietization. Volga German ASSR. The Volga German Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic was established to grant autonomy to ethnic Germans along the Volga River. It thrived economically and culturally until World War II, when the population was accused of collaboration with Nazi Germany. In 1941, the ASSR was abolished, and nearly all Volga Germans were deported to Siberia and Central Asia, ending centuries of settlement in the region. Transcaucasian SFSR. The Transcaucasian SFSR united Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia into a single federative republic from 1922 to 1936. It was a short-lived administrative construct meant to centralize control over the ethnically and culturally diverse South Caucasus. While it facilitated economic coordination, it often suppressed national aspirations. Far Eastern Republic. The Far Eastern Republic was a short-lived buffer state established in 1920 between Soviet Russia and Japanese-controlled territories during the Russian Civil War. Though technically independent, it was controlled by the Bolsheviks and used to avoid direct conflict with Japan. It was dissolved in 1922, with its territory absorbed into the Russian SFSR. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more content. Comment the one you liked the most. Goodbye, and hope to see you next time.